Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Did We Make Ourselves Clear, the podcast that clarifies the subject matters of love, life, and everything in between. I'm your co-host, River, and today KP will be back next week. But today we have a very special guest, and it gives me great pleasure to announce this person. She's a St. Louis media legend who's recently retired after an illustrious career on KTVI, Fox 2. She's very generously shares her talents with many St. Louis nonprofits around St. Louis area. She's a great friend and mentor to many. We're delighted to have Bonita Carney. Welcome, Bonita.
Thank you, River. Thank you so much. It's a pleasure to be a part of your podcast and to think that you look at me as a legend. I don't know if that's good or bad. That sounds old. Oh, she's been around too long, but it truly is an honor to be a part of your program tonight and help you kick off a very lively discussion. I'm really happy to be a part of the program because the guest tonight is truly unique and gifted and someone I think has a lot to offer. He is designer Brandin Vaughn. Brandin is a St. Louis native and a graduate of the Art Institute of Chicago and founder of the Brandin Vaughn Collection. That means there's more than one, okay? Brandin opened his boutique on Cherokee Street in St. Louis back in 2018, I think it says. And one of his most famous clients is actress Vivica A. Fox. Thank you for joining us, Brandin. And of course, welcome to the show. This is your chance to make yourself clear. What do you have to say?
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me, guys. To God be the glory. It's so good to be here with you all, and let's get into this thing.
All right, well, thank you, Brandin. We're going to start with the questions, but before we start questions, I want to remind those who are watching, we have a chat option, so definitely put in your questions and we will answer them throughout the show. All right?
One of the things I noticed, River, in looking at his background, which I thought was very interesting, is the fact that he says that his early influences in fashion was his mother. Brandin, tell us how your mom influenced you, convinced you that this was something you could do or should do?
Well, my mother worked for Angelica Image Apparel while I was coming up. This house she provided for us. So I always had like tape measures or catalogs in the house. So this was something that sparked me at a young age to, just figure out what was going on. But then my very first sewing project was because we didn't have a couch. I found a couch in the alley. I brought the couch in and I sewed cushions for the couch because the couch didn't have cushions. So that's how I started off sewing. That was my very first sewing project.
Well, earlier, Bonita mentioned that one of your notable clients was Vivica A. Fox. How did you come to work with Vivica? That's amazing.
A friend of mine, Shay, DJ Shay Money, she's actually on the radio station here locally now. She called me one day and I was working in the shop and she was like, meet me downtown with a bunch of stuff. And I walked in and it was Vivica Fox. And that's the very first time I worked with her on that photo shoot. And then she flew us all out and we did a shoot in LA. And she was kind of just getting ready to shop herself again and audition for new pictures. And we were in charge of giving her the images to be auditioned.
Nice.
Did she use them? Do you know?
Yes, she did, and she bought products, so that's a blessing.
All right.
That's what she's supposed to do.
Right.
Absolutely. Well, let's talk a little bit about what it is that you do. What do you design? And looking at your website, it says that you provide sophisticated elegance with an edge, changing the world one stitch at a time. How does that describe your collection?
I mean, when I design, I think of three people. I think of my mom, my wife, and my daughter. And those are words that I think fit those three people very well. Sophisticated, elegant, and edgy. That's how I want my daughter to grow up. And I mean, it just describes my style. Yeah.
I see pieces there on the screen now. Some of them have a real Afrocentric pattern to it. Is that at all part of your motivation?
Not really. I think River just picked the most Afrocentric picture she could find.
I absolutely love it.
But I kind of like to blend cultures. I grew up in University City, which is a melting pot of every type of person, every walk of life. So I had an opportunity to look through that window and, merge cultures, merge styles. And it could be African one day, it could be Japanese one day, it could be totally American. But there's no telling. It just really depends on how I feel and what I want to design, where the inspiration comes. So it comes from everywhere.
Okay, so you already answered my question, which was how did you find your inspiration? So you did well. You did well.
You know what, River? I also read a little background on him that indicated that Brandin celebrated a milestone of designing his 1,000th garment. He had reached 1,000 garments with the 100 Looks fashion show.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about that.
I'm so proud of that moment. When I first started to do this thing on my own, I ordered 1,000 tags, the tags that I sew into the clothes, just to take the brand on every single garment. And I'm in the shop and I'm completing a garment, and then I realized I have no more tags. And it felt so great because I felt like I was a professional then at that moment, and it really also let me know that I needed to put the brand out there more and let people know. So that's what that show was all about. I did a show called 100 Looks, and that really that changed the game for me. This really was a period in my life where I realized there's no looking back from here. And I'm walking in purpose. So that was a very important moment for me.
What can you tell us a little bit about those moments that bring you the most satisfaction, perhaps in that design process, in creating those 1,000 garments, or just the reaction of the 1,000 people who actually walked away with your product?
Um, every time I put a garment on someone's back and they're in the mirror and they smile and they light up, that makes my job worth it. You know what I'm saying? I like to say that I am a catalyst of confidence, and I like to make people feel vibrant and alive, so to speak, to walk into a room they're not normally in and feel comfortable because of what they have on. So I like to boost people's confidence and make them feel good about themselves. So, I mean, that's where I find the most joy. That's really why I do what I do.
But I want to switch gears a little bit. I know everybody's having a hard time. A lot of small businesses are having a lot of hard time because of the COVID pandemic. As a business owner and a fashion designer, how have you been able to pivot during this time?
Masks. I didn't want to make masks at first at all. But then my aunt asked for a mask and I made her a mask. She posted on social media
Mhm.
and they just went crazy. And I woke up to a bunch of orders in my inbox, and that's really what sustained me during this time. Now it's kind of dying down because I think I hit most of the community who needs them, or they can just buy them locally. But uh, that is what kept me alive. I mean, I spent nights and nights and nights like working like to like 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock in the morning to fulfill orders. So thank God that I was able to find that product. And I was actually praying for a product that, I can put in somebody's hand for about $10. That, to get myself out there, to touch more people, to, have a product that somebody else needs.
Speaking of touching more people, I know you have an event coming up that's going to be outside, like an outside venue piece. Isn't that
A sidewalk sale?
Yeah.
This weekend?
Yeah, isn't that coming up?
Oh, Sunday, yeah,
Yeah,
Sunday.
talk
Come to the
about that.
sidewalk sale. Come buy some things, guys. I'm gonna have masks there. A lot of stuff that's on sale since people could not come out and shop. We're gonna have some stuff on sale just to clear out because we're gearing up to launch fall and winter apparel. So yeah, come on out to that.
You know what, Brandon? My question kind of dovetails on that in terms of local businesses. How hard is it to really make your way in the world of fashion? And particularly in New York or LA, is it more challenging? Aren't there designers a dime a dozen? How do you stand out? Do you come home? Do you find it uh, less challenging or more rewarding to be here doing what you do? I lost audio. Are you able to hear me? We're So many people are designing today. How do you stand out? I lost audio.
We're so sorry. We had some technical difficulties, but we're back. What did you ask last? Where did we stop?
I was just trying to address the notion of the fact that he's here in St. Louis and he is doing business and he is succeeding here in St. Louis. But you have to think people are usually in the fashion industry in New York or LA, but you're home, you're in St. Louis. Is there some advantage to being here doing what you do?
I started off in Chicago, and I was working as a pattern maker there. And after I quit the job, I started to launch my collection there, and it was just too saturated. And I could never be able to afford a storefront in Chicago, giving me being a grassroots business. And then I also have a support system here, and I knew that there was a place for me here in the market because there's nobody doing what I'm doing. I like to say I take it from the page to the body, and there are very few stores that a customer can walk into and have a one-on-one with a designer and offer a client custom garments, or they can shop a collection right there in the store.
Do you have displays of fabrics that I could walk in and say, I want something black and white, and you'll show me various pieces of fabric in black and white, and then
oh my God, yes. Yes. I actually had to remodel the store so I could put the fabric up because it was way more fabric than, I knew what to do with. So I usually design a collection every season, and I give the customer an option to shop from the rack as well as take the fabrics from the collection and make a garment that is custom for them. So you can pick fabrics from the season and put it in a different silhouette,
Mm-hmm. I like that. I like the idea of doing that. I used to sew. My sewing machine is broken right now, but I like
you need to come help me.
I love yours. River, did you have a question?
Yes, Brandin, I know that in addition to creating fashions, you enjoy teaching and mentoring up and coming fashion designers. How do you tell us a little bit about what keeps you motivated?
Just to do that. I believe that it's very important to empower the youth. With sewing and fashion design being a lost art, I think it's important that we teach them. You don't necessarily have to go to a university and pay thousands of dollars to learn when you can get up under somebody like me or another professional and learn that craft. So if I can teach them how to sew a button on or hem pants, those are life skills that you're going to need, in everyday life, not just to be a fashion designer,
Correct.
Those are things that are important. People judge you off of your appearance, and to look good is one of those things that our youth really needs to understand to look professional and walk in a room and, be acceptable by the people there.
Go ahead, River.
I was just going to turn it over to people asking questions, but we are still because of the technical difficulties we had, I don't think we have any questions. But if there's anything you'd like to ask him in closing, or
Sure.
is there anything you'd like to talk about? No. Is there anything else you want to talk about? I know you got several other things coming up. Is that correct? That you've just got some information on?
Oh.
No? Okay.
I mean, we're working on a couple of things I can't announce yet, though.
All right. Very good. Very good.
Not just yet. I'm just waiting on final meetings and confirmations. But yeah, we're working on a couple of things.
Wonderful.
Just tell everybody, just don't give up. This journey has really been a process. And through the process, I have to tell you, get in touch with your spiritual side. That's the only way you're going to get through. Put God first, and just in everything you do. That's the most important thing. Last week I had a rough time, a tough time. Sometimes you just do stuff every single day, and then you get burnt out. You feel like you just want to give up. But it's very important to get prayed up and keep moving. You know, every day is not going to be a day of success. You know,
Agreed.
you're going to fail more times than you have those successes. But the whole point is finish the mission. You have to keep going. You know, and last week I was just there. I was down, and I wanted to just give up. It wasn't like I didn't have business. I just wanted to see the next level. And you know, God sends somebody to give you a message, and that's exactly what happened to me. You know, and those are thank God for those people. You know, yeah, just keep going, keep pushing.
Brandin, what is the next level? What to you? What does that mean?
I make clothes for the world, you know, and sometimes, you know, my white customers think I just make clothes for Black people. But the next level is being able to open another store in another city and teach someone to do what I'm doing, to even offer my clothes in bigger stores, just taking the brand to an international level. I don't like to say I'm a local designer because I'm not a local designer. So it's getting the word out and you know, making people feel good outside of St. Louis and Missouri and the United States, you know.
We got a question that just came in from Shirley. She says, do you have a fall line that just came in?
Yes, I like to design in season. It really cuts back on the waste of mass production. So I try to do 2 or 3 garments a week. So the fall collection is rolling out right now. I actually just shot a couple pieces last night. So those things are going to go up on the internet and website, and you can just come in and shop in the store also.
Wonderful.
I want some of that. So I guess I better go to the website, right?
Or just come see me if it's fast. If you come to me, it's a one-man show. So like if you come to the store, you have a better chance of seeing more in there because I'm literally on that machine every single minute of the day. And sometimes I don't have time to put stuff online, you know.
Gotcha.
You know, some things don't even make it to online because I just don't have time with, you know, producing stuff for the store or making custom orders. Yeah.
Well, we definitely want to put your website back up for those who are international and they may want to get some masks or other types of garments that you may have. So again, that website is
BrandinVaughn.com, BrandinVaughn, BrandinVaughn.com.
Wonderful. So please go out and support.
Absolutely. I think it's worthy. He is worthy of our support. Someone who stepped out on faith like that. Truly. I mean, how many people would make that sacrifice and decide that this is something that is going to sustain him for his life, himself and his family. It's impressive. And we thank you for what you've given to the fashion world and to our community and representing the Lou.
That's right.
Yeah.
Representing the Lou.
And I'm proud.
So we want to thank. Go ahead. I'm sorry, Bonita.
No. Are we going to close it out so soon? It seems like we
can talk to me, girl.
Yeah.
I'm getting comfortable now.
Well, is there any other questions? I mean, anything you want to just talk about in particular?
I mean, she said faith. I want to touch on that faith thing again.
Okay, go ahead.
This journey is about faith. And if you don't have faith, then you don't have nothing. If you don't have God, Jesus, you don't have anything. And that is where most of my success came from. It's not in anything that I've done or, you know, it's, of course, I'm persistent with my working, but it's definitely a spiritual walk and journey, you know, and I kind of tap into the God within and manifest what I want, you know.
I got a question that just came in from April. She says, what are your favorite things to design?
Coats. I love coats. Outerwear. It's one of the top selling things in the market, but I love to contrast with upholstery fabrics. Those fabrics really tell a deeper and richer story. And I would have to say women's wear, like day dresses. Those are products that sell very fast. Men are just so closed-minded. Not that I want to put a dress on a man or anything, but you know, the women shop more. And yeah, those are the people who are really affected by what I do, because they'll come in, put the dress on, feel confident enough to keep pushing. You know?
Okay. So but I think I got another question from DL Jack. Says, will you be featuring Zara and more fashion shows? Who's Zara?
Zara's my daughter. Who is DL Jack?
DL Jack.
I've been talking to my
Thank
wife,
you, DL.
and my wife is really encouraging me to do a children's line. And I know that's a market. Like, people buy stuff for their kids.
They do.
It's a huge market,
especially unique pieces.
Yes. So I'm thinking about tapping into that, but it goes back to the scaling the business again. You know, I need more hands. I need to find another seamstress. You know, I need to find somebody to help me.
So how can they reach you email wise?
BrandinVaughn.com.
All right.
Yeah.
Where do you secure your fabrics from Helen?
Fabrics, I go to Chicago or LA.
Thank you, Helen.
I usually try to fly out quarterly, at least 3 or 4 times a year in the season, and I buy tons of fabrics and then ship it back and then design a collection with that way.
Okay.
So you don't, excuse me, River, just quickly, you don't have a design in mind when you're looking and buying that fabric?
Sometimes I do. With me being the designer and being in store, I have a one-on-one with the customer. And what that allows me to do is take what they come in and request and work that into the collection. So sometimes I do. Most times when I go to LA, I have a couple sketches of products that I know I want to produce. But I love fabrics. That's really how I started and where my passion lays. So I like to go out, touch and feel, and kind of let the fabrics do the work for me, you know. And that's the funnest part about this thing, really. It's the hunt. It's what cool fabric can I find, you know. And usually when I see that fabric, I'll know exactly what I want to do with it. Okay. So that's an inspiring part for me.
Well, I don't want to.
I'm all for the children's line. I can't wait to see what you bring with that. That's going to be very interesting.
And a lot of it is probably going to be just like, you know, adult styles, but in children sizes.
Of course.
You know.
Of course. But you got some really amazing adult. So this will be fun to see a child in some of it.
Yeah, hopefully,
especially with all the colors and
charge the same prices.
Of course. Of course.
Wow. Well, we're looking forward to seeing all of that. Can't wait to see more of your work, and certainly do appreciate the fact that you're here. Are there more questions, River?
No, I think that wraps up most of the questions that were coming in, and I thank everybody for showing up and asking Brandin some questions.
And I want to say thank you to you for having me as part of this show and giving me an opportunity to meet Brandin and to learn a little bit more about him. I feel really special being in his presence, truly, and knowing and seeing his work. Thank you.
This has all been very great. So I thank you, Brandin, for coming on, and a big, big thank you to you, Bonita. The pleasure is all ours, and I can't wait to have you back on the show in whatever capacity you'd like. Also, I want to remind those who are watching that we have another show coming up on Friday, October 30th at 6:30 p.m. for Small Business Spotlight. We will be spotlighting Nile adornments. Until then, I know the Lord ain't brought us this far to drop us off here. Did we make ourselves clear? Thank you for tuning in, everyone. Good night.